Halloween is the only time of the year that we allow children to take candy from strangers. This is Epic Thoughts. Happy Halloween, everybody. It's Halloween 2023, and we are here. You are there. And this is time for another episode of Epic Thoughts. I am your host, Ramon. And man, I am excited that you're here today. Shout out to all the people who are watching us now on Facebook and YouTube and HPTV, man. And Hope Radio, and all the Hope affiliates. Anyways, yo, I'm excited. I woke up today feeling extremely elated. I woke up today excited. I don't know if you've ever had that where you just got this pep in your step. I went to bed kind of like frustrated, and I don't know about you. We are 2 months away from the end of the year. We have 8 to 9 weeks left in this year, maybe 10. And I don't know how you're going to spend yours. I have a very clear definition, or I have a very clear route of how I'm going to spend my next 8 to 10 weeks here. And I'm just going to just take things over by storm. And I hope that you do the same. And man, it's time, bro. I don't know. I feel this restlessness in me that I'm just super excited and aggressive, and I want stuff, and my heart is full of just joy and happiness because I know that life is going to change. You know, sometimes you ever got to that point where you just woke up and said, you know, I'm over this. I'm over feeling sad. I'm over feeling frustrated. I'm over feeling anxiety and depression. I'm just done. Now, not to say that there's not going to be days moving forward where you don't feel those mean things, but there's got to be a point, for me at least. I've been walking around in pain because my body's in pain because I took a nasty fall a couple of weeks ago. Just downtrodden and feeling like, oh man, money's not coming in the way it's supposed to come in. And today I just had this feeling like enough, like I've had enough. And I got up and I got dressed, and I heard the notifications on my phone going off. I didn't grab it. I didn't go to it. Just went through a different kind of routine. Like my routine was different today. Like I opened up the window a little bit, let some of the bright light. I'm a darkness dude. I like the dark. So like I don't open windows. I don't like sunlight. I'm really a vamp at times because I just like to be in the dark. But today I let the light in. If I don't have to go outside, I won't go outside. That's just who I am. And today I was just a different version. And so kind of went through my routine first. And I was kept checking my phones because certain people I'm waiting to hear from. And so I would answer them if they ever text or called or whatever. But then it got to the point where I was getting dressed and my phone was blowing up and I couldn't understand. It had me thinking that somebody died. And I hate that feeling. I don't know if you ever had that feeling like, yo, somebody passed. That's why everybody's hitting me up. And so I went, I got dressed, get ready to take the day on, and had me a little piece of bread for breakfast. And then I did the mistake and I turned on the TV. And then I started to realize why everybody was texting me. For those who don't know, I am an avid Los Angeles Clipper fan. I am passionate to the core. I bleed red and blue. Like I literally do bleed red, but I also bleed that Clipper blue. I am Clippers through and through. And I'm not one of those Clippers that hate on the Lakers. I'm just a Clipper guy. I've always been a Clipper guy. And people always like, you're just a bandwagon. I'm not a bandwagon jumper, bro. I'm like world be free Clipper. I'm like I'm Danny Manning Clipper, Stanley Roberts Clippers. That's the Clippers. That's the first team I remember being a fan of, was the Danny Manning, Mark Jackson Clippers. Okay. That's been my squad from day one. I just love the team. I've always been a fan of that team. Um, if you ask me why, that's going to have to lead to a different conversation that I'm not, don't have time for right now. But there's an emotional tie to it. But that's my squad, man. And yeah, we haven't won a championship ever. We haven't been to the finals ever. We've been to the Western Conference Finals one time. And shout out to my man Doug Wood. Doug Wood, shout out. The moment they got into the finals and they were playing Phoenix in the finals, my man Doug Wood hit me up and was like, yo, this is a once in a lifetime deal for you. I said, yes, it is. And he flew me out to Arizona to go see the championship. One of the matchup, I think it was game 5. I got to go see in Phoenix. That was great. So shout out to Doug Wood. Thanks for remembering me, bro. Because it's part of me. It's part of who I am. So there's ups and downs with this franchise. There's been great moments. There's been really, really bad moments, and they've gone worse from there. So there's a lot more bad than good. So today, I go on ESPN because I like to watch Stephen A. Smith, and I just listen to what he's talking about. And I thought they were going to be talking about the Raiders because the Raiders collapsed yesterday. It's just brutal to see them play. And there was the talk. The Raiders was the talk, and it's playing in the background, so I'm not really focused on it. And then I hear the news that everyone was texting me on. James Harden has been traded to the Los Angeles Clippers. He's been traded for a couple players that I really liked. I like Nick Batum. I really love Marcus Morris. So we lost both those guys, and we lost some draft picks to get, James Harden and PJ Tucker, which is not a bad trade. PJ Tucker, I think that's a great trade. But so people were like, "Yo, you excited?" Da 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 da, and I honestly could care less. And so I felt like, we should call this show "Why I'm Not Excited About the James Harden Trade." And for obvious reasons, the main reason, I love basketball. I love watching every game, even if they're not Clippers. I love watching the game. I love the NBA. I love the WNBA. The Aces are my squad, and I'm not a bandwagon jumper. I've been an Aces squad since before they moved to Las Vegas, and they're the Silver Stars. And so shout out to the Aces, back-to-back WNBA champions. Shout out to Becky Hammond. Shout out to Asia Wilson and Chelsea Gray and Kelsey Plum. Those girls rocked it. If you're not a fan of WNBA, I don't know what you are doing with your life. This is the best. This is one of the best leagues out there right now. Okay, and people can argue what they want, and I hate the hate that people give the WNBA. They do not deserve it. These girls work really, really hard. And my girls, the Aces, are back-to-back champions, and they deserved it. That game 4 was ridiculous. Shout out to the New York Liberty, who made a great run. They got some good pieces too, so they're going to be dangerous in the years to come. But man, the Aces, this is their time. And I was watching the parade that they televised or on YouTube. I was actually watching it on YouTube, fantasizing about the day that the Clippers would do this, that they'll have a parade. And I'll be able to celebrate like the girls did on the streets of Las Vegas. Of course, it'd be in the streets of Los Angeles. And I already know if it ever does happen, it's not going to be nearly as many people as when the Lakers win. And people are going to say that. Here's how many people showed up with the Lakers, and here's the 17 people who showed up for the Clippers. I don't care. As long as my team wins, that's all I want. So I love the game. I love the league. I'm a sports guy. I love all the sports. I'll watch any sport you put in front of me. I'll watch it, to the point where on Sunday I was like, dude, you love sports. You should add a career in sports. So I'm looking at ESPN. I was on ESPN on Sunday looking for jobs. And then I thought to myself, I got an idea. And I'm not going to share it with you right now, but it has to do with the Heritage Park, and it's going to be fun. So I say all that to say I'm a hardcore Clipper fan. James Harden. So me being in sports, I've seen James Harden for years, followed this man's career for years. And I remember my first kind of thought around this guy was when he went from OKC to Houston. And I thought to myself, this is a bad move because They were so close to being one of the most dynamic teams when he was in OKC. When he was a young player, he was playing with OKC. He's playing with a young Kevin Durant and a Russell Westbrook. And they weren't as close as they were a couple years later when OKC was like a game away from getting to the finals against LeBron. But they were very, very tight knit team. They also had Deion Waiters, Serge Ibaka. They had just a scary, scary squad. They had a scary squad. And James Harden bounces, and because he wants to be a star in his own right. So he went to Houston, and he had great regular season, loses in the playoffs. Then he goes, then he doesn't want to play in Houston no more. So he comes free agency, and he comes fat, like overweight. And then they trade him because he didn't want to be. So he forced them to trade him to Brooklyn. He played for Brooklyn, didn't do well over there. Again, regular season great, playoffs falls off, can't find him. Then he doesn't want to play in Brooklyn no more. So then he gets fat, and then they trade him to Philly. He played in Philly. He got a great regular season. Can't make it happen in the playoffs. So then this fall, he comes to practice. He comes to camp. He comes fat again, and he forces Philly to move him. And so now he's with the Los Angeles Clippers. So reason number one why I'm not excited about James Harden coming to the Clippers is because he's known. He's a future Hall of Famer, a top 25 player in the league right now, and he doesn't care about staying with a team. He doesn't care about being with a team and making something happen. Everything is focused on him. And if he doesn't like a scenario, he doesn't like a situation, he'll play his game, he'll pout, he'll cry, he'll do all this weird stuff to get him out. So then it was like, for me, it was an accident that we didn't have to have. He's an abomination. And listen, mark my words. If the Clippers win this thing all at the end of the season, I'll get on the Epic Thoughts and I'll eat crow. But what I'm saying is he hasn't done anything in his career to make me go, oh, yeah, man, he's going to change this thing around. So for that reason, I'm not excited because I'm like, this is going to be like another couple years where we get some of the best players because the Clippers have that. We've had the best players on the team for many years, from Blake Griffin to Chris Paul to DeAndre Jordan to Jamal Crawford to JJ Redick, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And then we get the players that are old, like Grant Hill, and we get some great players, and it never turns into anything. Okay. So after that whole Western Conference Finals against Phoenix, I was just like, this is who we're going to be. We're just going to be that team that just doesn't get anywhere. And so I feel like it's more of the same. So that is one of the reasons why I'm not really excited about James Harden coming to the Clippers, because it could just wind up being another thing where we have him for 2 years, get into the playoffs twice, not get far in the playoffs because James Harden goes missing, because he always goes missing in the playoffs. He habitually just goes missing. It's like he could play really good basketball until April, and then he can't play May or June. It's all of a sudden he can't make a shot May and June. It's like that every year. And then after that, after we waste Paul George and Kawhi Leonard's best years, and Russell Westbrook loses the rest of his career ends as a Clipper, and then all of a sudden he don't want to play here no more, and he gets fat. And it ain't about coaching, because he's had great coaches. He's had Steve Nash, he's had Doc Rivers, now he's got Tyronn Lue, he's had Mike D'Antoni. Mike D'Antoni is the coach that you want if you're a James Harden type player. So it just doesn't make sense to on this level. So for all those reasons, not excited about James Harden coming to the Clippers. Okay. So that's why I haven't responded to anybody. That's my response to why I'm not excited about the James Harden trade. The other reason, as much as I love sports and as much as I love the Los Angeles Clippers, as much as I love the organization, and as much as I love the game of basketball, and I am hopeful. Before James Harden showed up, I was hopeful, but I'm not resting a lot of energy on whether this team becomes a champion or not, because I'm realizing there's more important things in life than that team that you watch and you play and you watch and you pay money to go watch them play. And yeah, I average at least a Clipper game a year, at least get to a game. We had an opportunity to go in the box and watch a Clipper game from the box. It was just preseason, but it was from the box. I was set to go, got sick. And so didn't want to get anybody else sick, because this is a different day and age. It's not like 2017 where you'd be like, I'm sick, but I'm gonna go out because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I'm like, no, I don't want my homie to get sick. So I'm just gonna stay home and keep my germs to myself. And that's what I did. The other reason I'm not really excited because there's so much to do in life, right? You got a lot of things to do, and the Clippers are always going to be there. They're always going to win some, and they're always going to lose a little bit more. They're always going to be in the playoffs. Well, at least for the last 20 years, they've been in the playoffs a lot. And maybe even when they get in the finals, maybe I'll kind of look back and go, wait a minute, and I'll watch a game here and there. But sometimes we let things distract us so quickly. And let me tell you something: the distractions are dangerous. I used to be like, it's just a distraction, it's just a day, but one day turns into two, 2 days turns into 5 days turns into a month, and next thing you know, it's November. We are literally a day away from November. November starts tomorrow. And you have to sit there and go, man, how did this year play out? How did I play this year out in comparison, knowing that we've already done 10? We've already completed 10 months in the year of 2023. And we got 2 months left, and we're in 2024, dog. Bro, imagine this. You're 4 years removed from 2020, right? And we thought 2020 was uh, um, just a horrible year that just beat everybody up, bro. In 2 months, you're 4 years removed from that. So that's heavy to kind of think about and go, dang, man. Time goes by fast. Yo, like this time next year, like process this. This time next year, we're voting for a new president. That's nuts. Like I feel like we just got Biden, and this time next year we're voting a new one in. And yo, I don't care if it's red or blue or whatever. Vote somebody else in because we just need to vote somebody else in. But next year we're voting a new president. That's yo. We've already had them for 3 years. That's crazy. So time is, I don't know about you. Some people feel like it's not going fast. I feel like time is going by really, really, really fast. And we don't have time to lollygag and as much as I want to be a fan and sit there, like I don't have time to invest myself in 82 basketball games to be like, how my team do, how my team do. When there's so much stuff that I feel like the need for the things that I want to do in life, the things that I have to do in life are piling up. Like I'm getting older and my list is getting heavier. And we need to start working on making your list, make your list and get it smaller, get it more compacted and start really attacking things. We need to start attacking habits. Habits. I'll get to that in a second. We need to start attacking our goals, attacking our purposes, things that we want to do, really set our sights and go after it. And along with that, we need to start doing the right things for our body, for our mind, for our physical. We need to be really attacking some stuff. And I think these distractions are just there's everywhere. These distractions are everywhere. You can't just rest on your morals and laurels. Morals. You can't relax and rest on your laurels. You gotta get up, get out and do something, right? Tomorrow never comes. As much as I like to tell you, man, you have an opportunity. Tomorrow absolutely never comes. People always talk about, well, you have to do it tomorrow. I started realizing in the last month, especially the last month, I keep pushing things off till tomorrow, and then tomorrow never happens. Tomorrow just ends up being another today. And another today is when you don't do anything. So tomorrow never comes. And I'm really on purpose this morning. I woke up like, yo, you gotta get this done, this done, this done. And you can't go to sleep until you get that stuff done. And I saw that this can distract me, getting super excited about James Harden and knowing that they're playing the Lakers tomorrow. And listen, if I get everything done today and then stuff that I needed to get done 3 months ago, if I get it done tomorrow and I hang out with my kids, get to see my kids or whatever, spend time with them. And if I've done all that and I still got time to catch the last quarter of the Clipper Laker match tomorrow, I'll watch it. But at the same time, bro, it's not something that's going to bother me if the Clippers win or lose. It's not going to bother me because I have to disassociate myself from things that doesn't get me to where I need to go. Sometimes we are associated with things that don't ever connect or have anything to do with our ultimate purpose. And when we do that, those are distractions, no matter how cool they are, right? They could be habits, they could be friends, they could be somebody you're dating. If they're not helping you get to your purpose, you got to start looking at those things and be like, yo, is this going to get me there or not? Because listen, I can't express to you enough. While about an hour before the show, I'm a numbers guy, so I like looking at numbers. So an hour before the show, I started looking at numbers of my people who are listening to my music, watching their demographics. I went to go look at those numbers. Then I went to go look at HPTV's numbers, and then I went and looked at Epic Thoughts numbers on a platform on Spotify and YouTube. We do really bad on YouTube. We gotta get better at that. But HPTV's does real good. My album, bro, I got a residual check in the email. Somebody sent me. I got a residual check from Spotify. It was crazy from my distributor. I was like, yo. And I always get a royalty check, but they never were this big. I got a big check today. I was like, oh, thank God, because I needed it. But anyways, I started looking at the demographics, and I'm right down the middle with the gender. I'm like 50-50 male and female. Actually, I'm like 51 male, 48% female, and then 1%, 2% non-binary. And so, which is crazy. But the biggest demographic is 20-year-olds from the age of 20, I think from 19 to 29 is my largest base. So let me say this to y'all. The scariest moment is when you hit 30. When you hit 30, that joint, it's scary as hell, right? And it's scary for a person who hasn't hit 30 yet. So a person who's surpassed 30, I'm telling you, bro, 30 is cool. 40 is freaking incredible. Like it is based off of perspective, but man, you realize you ain't lived until you hit like 35. You're like, yo, I ain't had nothing done till you hit 35. You're like, man, this is when life really gets exciting. But I hear it all the time. Like, yo, I just turned 30. This is awful. Like, oh my God, I haven't done anything with my life. Here I am at 30. And people are afraid of 30. There's nothing to be afraid of 30. 30 is still very young, right? And it's so funny because you tell somebody who's like in their 20s, yo, 30 is young. You still got time. And they feel like life is over because the distractions will tell us that we only have like this little, you only have this youth. You can only do things while you're this young. And then when you hit 30, it's over. It's a wrap. But nah, bro, like, dude, you still have so much more time. Even if my homies are hitting 40, you got so much more time. Even 50, I don't know nothing about 50, but I would assume if 40 feels like 40 does, then 50, you should be fine. You should be able to do the things you want to do, and you still got a lot of time. You still got a lot of purpose. You still got energy. You can do it. So I think people think that 30 comes and all of a sudden they got to get a cane and a handicap sticker and senior citizen discount at Hometown Buffet. Like, you can still travel. You can still do great things at 30. 20 is not like the end all be all. You haven't even got over the hill. I don't even think 40 is over the hill. I think once you get to like 57, 59, 60 is when you're at the crest of the hill, where you're at the plateau and you start to go down. That's like 60. So you still got, like, I've seen people start businesses at 50 something and be successful. I've seen people start businesses at 80 and they're really successful. Or passions, or people wanting to get into acting. Remember, Samuel L. Jackson didn't get into acting until like he was like 48, and Morgan Freeman was like damn near 50 something. I think Morgan Freeman was a little younger, but still he was older, on the older end of the young side. So you still got a lot of times, man. Like, don't let the enemy lie and steal excitement from you by making you think that you're too old. You still got a lot of time, but you don't have time to keep pushing off things you can do today, things that you can make a difference, things that you can take stands on today. You don't have time to push those to tomorrow, because tomorrow really is not promised, but you're not old. I guess that's what I'm trying to say, because I feel like I was contradicting myself, but you're not old. So I'm not really excited about James Harden. I'm excited about what's happening to me. I'm excited about what's happening with Heritage Park. and I still haven't even scratched the surface on what I could be doing, which is crazy. And I came to this. I was watching. One of the things that really stopped me, that really slows me down, and I bet you it slows you down too, is scrolling on social media, bro. We gotta get to the point we stop scrolling. Like I there, if I could, and if I get lost in it, I scroll for hours. Like I really can. I could just be doing this and mindlessly scrolling, and I can scroll for hours. And what sucks is now reels are everywhere because reels are the things that get me, like the stories or the feeds. It's the reels. So now Facebook got reels, YouTube got the shorts, um, uh, TikTok. I don't even get on TikTok because it's nothing but reels. I'm now on TikTok though. You follow me though. Yeah, let's go. Let's get some. Instagram, like Twitter, even if you get to a point you can start scrolling video after video after video, and it gets it's obnoxious is what it is. I don't even do Snapchat, but it's LinkedIn does them now. It's crazy. LinkedIn does it. So it captures you and it sucks you in. And next thing you know, you have planned. You ever picked up the phone to call somebody and scrolled and then scroll to the point where you forgot you were on the phone to call somebody? I've done that so many times, or I was like, yo, I need to post, and I'll go to post, and then I would scroll for a minute, and next thing I know, I forgot why I originally got on the phone, and hours have gone by, not years, but hours have gone by. You gotta be careful of that stuff because that stuff is distracting and it takes you away. So you have to stop yourself from getting in that place. But I'm rambling at this point. But you gotta be more mindful of the things that you're doing. You have to be mindful of the things that's in front of you. So while I was scrolling one day, I came across my man's um um what's his name? See, I was gonna go to social media, find his name, and then I'll be scrolling. His middle name is Anthony, Joseph Anthony Mitchell, or Joseph Anthony. Oh God, I was able to say it the other day. Now I can't remember his name, but he was preaching on he has a church in Atlanta, um, 2918 church. It's probably, I see it online. I watch his messages. He's probably one of the most dynamic people right now. He's killing the game. Love this dude, and he's hard. He's in your face. It's in your face, but I like it. And he was having this message, and he hit me in between the eyes because he was talking about calling, and he has two different reels I saw of calling. One was about like how we fantasize the term calling. The other thing was we treat a calling, or we treat a goal, we treat your purpose like it was something that God created, like a side hustle to give you the option to choose whether you're going to do your purpose or not. And it was like, yeah, I might start my telephone business, but I don't know. And we always act like that our purpose in life is a side hustle, or it's our purpose in life is something over here that we get to decide whether we're going to do it or not, and not look at it for what it actually is. Because I do believe personally, I believe that God created us to do something, and everyone has a call, everyone has a purpose, and everyone has a different purpose to do. So with that being said, I do believe that you have a purpose. I believe I have a purpose. I believe the homie over there behind the screen got a purpose. I believe your mama got a purpose. Everybody got a purpose in life. Now, here's the thing that got me, what he was sharing. He was like, your purpose that you have in life is God given, which we all can agree. I can, at least. My purpose is God given. I believe yours is. And the fact that, and for those, and there's two different people I need to talk to real quick. One is for the person who doesn't know their purpose, right? There's a lot. I didn't think there was a lot, but there's a lot of people who don't know their purpose. If you are a child of God, if you're a believer and you don't know your purpose, I think your original purpose is to become a believer, right? A healthy believer, I should say. If you don't know your purpose, be a good father, be a good spouse, be a good Christian person, learn your Bible. That could be your purpose until you find out what the secondary purpose is. And I guarantee you, if you just continue to have a healthy walk with God, and you're like reading your scriptures, and you're studying, and you're going to church, and you're staying in community, staying in prayer, you're doing all the things that you know that you're supposed to be doing as a child of God, you'll find your purpose. Easy, easy. So for that's for the people who don't know their purpose. But for everyone else who really believes, I believe God called me to do this. Do you understand that when you say that statement, I believe God called me to do this, that's not a suggestion. Your purpose is not, your calling is not, and I repeat, is not a suggestion. Your calling is not a suggestion. That joker is a commandment. God commanded you to do that. If you're supposed to be an artist, God commanded that you're an artist. He didn't suggest you should be an artist. He built you to be an artist. The reason why you're so creative with your words, and you see things in pictures, or you can write great poetry, or you tell amazing stories, you were given with the gift. You're made with that gift. So some people have the gift of telling stories. Some people have the gift of drawing pictures out and let people see things. Like, those are gifts that God gave you for a reason. And those reasons are not to be squandered away and be like, well, I don't have money, so I'll work at McDonald's. No, when you're not walking in your purpose, when you're not walking in your calling, when you're just kind of like derailed in your life, that's actually disobedience. And I am on this disobedience thing for the last couple of weeks. I've been processing disobedience on so many levels, and I start to realize how jacked up disobedience is. Right? We know disobedience is wrong when you sin. Sinning is disobedience, but there's so many other levels to it, and sometimes we say stupid things in the body of Christ, but there's levels of disobedience. So, like, for example, if you're driving down the street and the Holy Spirit puts on you to feed that guy on the stand on the corner, and you don't feed that person, you're being disobedient. That's disobedience. And we always talk it from a Christianity at its core. Christianity at its core is not it's not narcissistic. Christianity at its core is not about just you. It really, really is systemic on thinking and believing and being there for other people. So, with that being said, if you don't feed the homeless person, and that's disobedience, and we've and old and not old, but like other groups of Christianity, we preach like, disobedience is death, because the scripture says that you know we've all fallen short, and disobedience breeds contempt, and contempt brings death, and we preach that, but we don't realize that death doesn't necessarily all the time have to deal with us, right? Sometimes things die in other people because we were disobedient. So when you didn't feed the lady standing on the corner, that person went to bed hungry, and that person went to bed hungry because you didn't feed them. Now listen, I have friends that battle me. I mean, every single week when I'm with my friends and we have a little Bible study, they battle me every week about, but God's still in control. Yes, God's still in control. But if you didn't feed Samantha standing on the corner, and God put on your heart to feed Samantha, what if you were the only person supposed to feed Samantha? What if Samantha was praying for someone to come feed her, and you were the one that God asked to feed her and you didn't? And a lot of believers will say, well, God would bring somebody else. That could happen, yes, but you got to understand, I'm not talking from the standpoint of, because that relinquishes the obligations to be obedient. Does that make sense? That relinquishes the opportunity for me to be obedient and be a blessing. Like, you had the opportunity to be a blessing and bless Samantha. You didn't do it because you weren't sure if it was God. And that always drives me crazy. How do we not know that feeding a stranger on the side of the road is God? We say the stupidest stuff, like, I don't know if that's God or if that's me. You think that the enemy is going to sit there and be like, yo, feed Samantha. Like, yeah, why would he put me in a situation to be a blessing to somebody else? Or you'll be in church and and the ministry shows up, then they need funds for something, and you feel on your and you just came into an extra $200, and you feel the Holy Spirit say, give that extra $200 to this ministry, and you go, I don't know if that's God or not. First of all, let's be very clear. The enemy isn't having you invest money in any kind of ministry. Even if the ministry is off kilter, he ain't gonna sit there and be like, put your money there. This is never going to happen. All right. The Holy Spirit, and even if you don't do it and you're doing it out of giving because you're just like, I feel like I need to give. That right there is another epic thought that we could talk about, because you're opening up a doors to another level of blessing. So you have to follow that unction in your heart, man. And so if you go to feed Samantha, even if it wasn't God introducing it to you, you open the door for another level of believing because you became a giver and you became somebody who blessed people. And I've been there where I'm like, I'm not sure, but I feel like I'm gonna buy him something to eat. And I've done that. And it opens up the door to something greater than just like, oh, I feel good, I fed somebody. No, God opens the door to more stuff because you're like, dude, you're a giver. You're a giver. So I say that to say, stop making stupid excuses. And then don't make the excuses to kind of relinquish your responsibility to something, because there are things that you were supposed to do. There are phone calls you were supposed to make. There were seeds you were supposed to sow and you didn't do it. And people around you, and you tell people around you like, yo, man, I should have done this and I didn't. And they'll say something stupid like, well, God knew that you weren't going to give it, so God had a backup plan. God don't have backup plans. Like, that's the Bible is very clear. When John Mark was like, yo, we need to bring Bartholomew with us, and Paul said, no, don't bring Bartholomew with us. And John Mark was like, well, I can't rock with you if I can't bring Bartholomew. And Paul said, peace. And guess what? We never heard from John Mark again, because disobedience takes you out the game. It literally takes you out the game, because now you have no place. When you're disobedient, you have no place. So let's say God was telling you to do something. Let's say God was telling you to start a clothing line. And that's huge, because how would I know how to start a clothing line? I don't know how. But and you don't do it because you're waiting for someone else to show you, but you haven't done any steps. You haven't done anything. You haven't named it. You haven't put up seed money. You haven't even told people that the idea was there. You're being disobedient, and that disobedience took you out the game. So now there's nothing for you. So then the question comes up, and here's the thing I've noticed. How can I ask? I'm having this moment right now where there's things that are not working right in my life. And then I go to God and I say, yo, God, I need A, B, C. Please help me. And I get the same answer. And another thing that people say, and I can't stand when Christians say this, God only gives 3 answers: yes, no, and not now. That is not God. That is not how God responds. And you've never seen that in the Bible. Yes, no, not now. God is God. He's not your daddy. He's not your mommy. Okay. Those are answers my mom gave me. Can I have some Oreo cookies for lunch? No. Can I have water with dinner? Not now. Can I have water? Not now. Can I have this? Yes. He's not your parental. He's your God. He's your Lord. He's your Savior. He's your friend. So it's more than just yes, no, maybe. That's such a simple option on how to follow God that you're just getting a taste of it and you're not getting the full thing. And I'm really, really, really getting people into the full understanding of God, because there's a lot of waffy messages going on social media and in our churches today that if we're not careful, you're going to fall into, and it's going to affect you. So don't think that bad theology doesn't affect you. Bad theology affects you, bro. And that's why the scripture tells you to study to show yourself approved, a workman who does not need to be ashamed, but one who correctly or rightly divides. You have to be able to rightly divide. So I remember I'm in a situation, and this is real. This is lately. And I'm in a situation, I say, God, stuff is falling apart. This is falling apart. I thought you loved me. I thought you were going to take care of me. I thought you were going to meet my needs. How come my needs aren't being met? And then I hear the Holy Spirit says, because you're being disobedient. And I immediately went to this sin that I can't seem to shake. I'm being very open. I immediately went to this sin that I thought it was dealing with. And I was like, oh God, I'm not ready to deal with that. And there's something going on in my life that I'm just not ready to deal with right now. and it's hard, and I need the Holy Spirit a lot on it. And so I'm thinking it's that. I'm like, yo, you're really holding that carrot over my head. And I felt like the Lord, and at this point, I kept saying, you're really holding that carrot over my head. And then I realized the disobedience was, if I was obedient with the purpose that God put in my life and continue to walk and stop pushing things over till tomorrow and pushing things till next week and pushing things to the following week, then the doors would have been open where I wouldn't even have the requests that I'm having now. Does this make sense? So, like, if you were supposed to do a clothing line, you didn't do anything. And then here we go. We're going into the holidays because tomorrow marks Christmas time. I don't care what anybody say. I love Thanksgiving. I want to celebrate Thanksgiving. But tomorrow, like, there's Christmas trees already up at Walmart right now, bro. Like, they already got the green and the red and the balls and all that stuff is already there. So Christmas season starts, and you may sit there and go, man, I have no money to give my family gifts. I want to get gifts. God bless me with gifts. God bless me with gifts. And God's going to sit there and say, I told you to open a clothing store, because disobedience kills everything. Disobedience kills dreams. Disobedience kills a lot of things. So when it kills ministries. It kills ministries. So you have to have your mindset wrapped around being obedient to the call that's on your life. And for that reason, you can't be excited because James Harden came to the Clippers, because that's going to fade away. That's not something I could discuss with God when I get to heaven. He's going to be like, you had so many ideas that I downloaded into your brain and you did absolutely nothing with them. And those things were ways that I was going to use to bless you. Those things that are downloaded in your head, God's going to use those moments to bring blessings to your life, to bring freedom to your life, to take you out of situations you don't want to be in, to help you pay bills that you don't have money to pay. That is the key. That is the key. I believe it wholeheartedly. So those are reasons why I'm not really pumped about James Harden coming to the Clippers. Now, am I going to watch? I'll watch. I'll pay attention once in a while. But you ain't going to stop me, James Harden, coming to the Clippers. I'm not going to sit here and start shouting. And I didn't even post, woohoo, James Harden, no, get the ship. First of all, I realized one day, it wasn't the Clippers because they didn't win anything. I can't. Maybe it was the Aces last year, because I really like the Aces too. They've been like my Clippers for the WNBA. So maybe it was the Aces. So the Aces won championship last year. I was so pumped, and I remember screaming and shouting. And don't get me wrong, if the Clippers win this year, I'm gonna scream, I'm gonna shout, I'm gonna cry, I'm gonna have all those emotions. But then I remembered, I don't get any money or any kind of thank you. Like, Asia Wilson didn't send me a thank you text, or Kelsey Plum didn't say my name. I literally had that thought, like, it's funny, Chelsea Gray didn't say my name at the parade for the Vegas Aces. And then I went to a game this year, and they showed video footage of the championship, and they were like, no one said, and I just thank Ramon for the years of support that he had supporting us, even when we were the Silver Stars over in San Antonio, and then when we moved over to Las Vegas, he never left our side. Like, no one has ever said that to me. You know, when Tom Brady wins, he never says, and I thank Ramon, man, I don't know if I could do this without him. I realize they're going to win whether I root for them or not. Ain't got nothing to do with me. I get nothing out of it. I get absolutely nothing out of it. I'm like, yo, the Aces won this year. I clapped and I said, yeah, woo. And then I realized, yeah, then they ain't gonna say my name at the parade. Like, I'm not gonna get any thanks. Any thanks for the t-shirts I bought, the jerseys, the Asia Wilson jersey I bought for my daughter, or the years of tickets that I've gone to their games. Like, I literally will drive up to Las Vegas to see an Aces game. And no one says thank you. They send a little blurb on their screen. The Las Vegas Aces want to thank you for their support, but it doesn't say the Las Vegas Aces want to thank you for your support. Thanks, Ro. Like, they don't do that. And then I realized, wow, I put so much of my resources and energy and effort into something that will fade away, and they'll go down in history. Asia Wilson, the rest of those girls, they're going to go down in history for what they were able to do. Rightfully so. They earned that junk, but I'm not going to go down in history with them. I'm not going to go down in history with them. Will Smith won Best Actor 2 years ago for the King Richard's film. And he didn't say my name. He didn't say thank you to Ramon. You know, no one's won an Oscar and said thanks to Ramon for making that. And it goes down in history, and I'm not part of any of those films because I didn't do my part. But we do that. We get so caught up in everything else. At the end of the day, we ain't going down in history for being part of anything. What do you want to be remembered for? There's so many things I want to be remembered for. I want my kids to remember me as a great dad. I want my friends to remember me as one of the most inspiring people they know. Like that may be narcissist of me, but I want to be remembered, you know? And I need to stop giving my energy to stuff that doesn't pay out in the end. Because it's great that they have what they have. But I got things in my heart that I gotta get out that will represent me in the end. Now, I'm gonna say the statement and we're done for the day because we're gonna get food. The richest place in the world, the richest land in the world is the graveyard, because that's where you'll find all the unmet potential and the good ideas go to die. Think about all the good ideas going to die. Somebody once told me when I was a kid, they were like, have you thought about the process that maybe AIDS could have been? We got medical things that slows down the path of AIDS and HIV, but AIDS could have been cured. Cancer could have been completely cured, but maybe somebody went to sleep with it, with the idea, never worked on it, and they died. So the cure for AIDS could be in the ground somewhere in somebody's heart. Can you imagine if Tesla or some of the great minds today didn't express their minds, or they didn't push towards something? Can you imagine where we would be today if some of the greatest minds in science kept their idea to themselves and they kept pushing stuff off till tomorrow? Some things will be better off. Like if can you just imagine? That's crazy. So what are you pushing off? What can you do today? Because I guarantee you, bro, this is at 1991. And listen, my first record was 90. I did a demo in 97. And then I did my first demo in 97. And then that demo did release as an album later, but then 2001 was my second album. So I could tell you those two albums, they were extremely hard. You had to actually record in the studio. Then the studio had to go to somewhere else. And then you actually had to press a CD or press an album. You actually had to burn it onto a CD. Then you had to go and get hundreds of copies of it made. Then you had to print. It was so intense to make an album 20 years ago. As it is now, you literally can go one day, go in the studio, bum, 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 and have that joint released in a week if you worked hard. So the way technology is today, like, you don't have to know 100 people. You just got to be smart and use what God's given you. Like, you have so much tools right now. You can change the world by yourself. And God will bring you people, but you can. There's always something to do to take you closer and closer to the next step, right? There's always something you can do. And it's right there at the tip of your hands. It's right there. It's right there. You just got to be able to do it. And you can't let these little small distractions get in your way. For those who are listening on Hope Radio, or not Hope Radio, I'm sorry, Hope Recovery on our Hope page and stuff like that, don't forget, man, we got our Quarterama fundraiser happening on the 10th of November at Connection Church in Corona. It's 1441 East 6th Street, 1441 East 6th Street. Tickets are now available on tickets are now available, or you can pay to get in. The price has gone to $30, I believe, $30, and there's food there. Mama's Kitchen got confirmed. Mama's Kitchen will be there, and people love the birria tacos. I love them. They're bomb, and they will be there. November 10th, we got giveaways, we got auctions. It's going to be fun. Have a good time. All right. So make sure you show up. Heritage Park, man, thanks for watching us on HPTV or on YouTube, wherever you're watching us, man. Or if you're listening to us on Spotify, man, God bless you guys, man. You guys are killing it. Thank you for support. You guys are watching a lot. We got some changes coming up in 2 months, so it's going to be really good on HPTV. But Heritage Park PROD, that's where you get the information for everything where you want to know what's going on in the world of Heritage Park. That website is actually going to be updated too, also by the end of the year. I've been talking with some people. We have some changes coming up on the whole brand, and it's going to be something, man. We got some heat coming your way. Also got some new music coming out too soon. So I'm excited for you. I'm excited to be a part of this. Thank you for coming on today on Epic Thoughts. Have a wonderful day. Don't let these things distract you, and God bless you. Take care. Peace.